how do you grow an Instagram account or any social media really? It kind of translates to everything. When you're in a genre or in a field that is more niche, you feel like you don't have mass appeal. You have to find the people who are really passionate about the one thing that you do, which is probably more valuable anyway. Since I went all in on Instagram last fall, in the fall of 2020, um, I've experienced about a 3x growth. So I had just over 3,000 followers in last September when I'd made the conscious decision. Granted, I thought Instagram was dead at that time. It's like you can't grow organically anymore. You just can't do it because I would post here and there and nothing would get any traction. So I made a conscious decision to see if Instagram was really dead. And apparently it wasn't. So I had just over 3,000 Instagram followers. In September of 2020, I decided I'm going to post daily. And there was actually a post by an artist that I really admire called Blank Forms. I'll put that on the screen because there's a period in there that you'll miss if you just hear me say that. And he kind of laid out his philosophy of not showing results, but just every day showing up, doing the work, showing the work, and letting the audience decide from there. And from the moment I saw that, I said, okay, I'm just going to do daily post from for like, I don't know, I said like a month at first and just see what happens. Backtracking a little bit, I had built that 3,000 followers over the course of 4 years of being an artist on and being on Instagram. So it was like, that was it. That was all that I could amass at the time. And I thought that was pretty good. But, after a month of trying these new strategies, I had 4,000. So it was like, oh, well, maybe there's something to this. So what did I do? What results did I see from it? Those are all the things that I want to talk about in this video if you'll stick around. So in terms of the actual strategies that I used and how I did this, daily post, which I already mentioned, I was just creating content, a lot of content. I would do like long form jams, as they're called, with pieces of gear around the studio, film them, and I would chop them up into 30-second, 1 minute clips, and I would post them as videos on Instagram. All the while increasing my quality of the cameras that I was using and all of that, because there's a lot of good content on there, and you want to kind of at least be at the level that everyone else, and hopefully stand out in some way. My thought behind doing daily posts at the time was I thought that was like an algorithm thing that magically Instagram loved you if you posted once a day. And I don't know if that's true, but it is true that the more you post, the more opportunities that you have to be seen by not just your followers, but other people who are interested in similar niches that you're into. The kind of side benefit that was probably more important than the thing that I was setting out to do, which was trick the robots into liking me more. Um, the side benefit was that it kind of taught me the discipline of completing things and the discipline of just showing up every day and consistency, um, which is really important because we start getting caught up as artists in the idea of like everything's got to be perfect. And obviously we want to grow and get better all the time, but that perfectionism can hold us back sometimes. So, I've got 24 hours to turn around and post again. So I've got to get it done. And I'm not going to feel quite so precious about each individual post because I know I've got another one following up tomorrow. So if it doesn't do well, I'm not like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. I spent 2 hours shooting and editing this thing, and like 14 people watched it and 3 of them liked it, which is really discouraging. And to this day, it can be discouraging. It's something we've all experienced on Instagram, right? You spend a lot of time on a post, it doesn't get the engagement. But if you keep moving, you'll notice that it doesn't feel quite as defeating when that happens. Another really important thing that I was doing, which I got from kind of like a hacky social media guru type person, the idea of it was that they, wanted you to comment on like 100 posts a day that were in the similar niche and using hashtags that were relevant to what you're doing. And that was a bit much, but it does work, or it did, especially then. So, how I kind of adapted that to something that a real person could do is I would just scroll through Instagram for 15 minutes to start the day or whatever. Not maybe not the best way to start the day I've found since, but I would scroll through and I would legitimately look up like pieces of gear, um, musicians that I genuinely admire, and just be a person and engage in a way that a person would. You know, it seems like common sense, but we get so caught up in like fire emojis and wanting to know what people can do for us that we forget to genuinely like be enthusiastic about what other people are doing, which people can see through that really quickly, right? So in addition to acting like a person on other people's posts and genuinely saying things that you mean, just be a person in general and show that you're a person. So maybe be willing to put a face with your Instagram page, which I know a lot of us shy away from doing that. But I've found since I've been willing to like even do YouTube videos where I show my face, it's like people know you more. And there's a vulnerability that we've all felt because we don't want to be in front of the camera initially. Um, and I think that putting yourself out there in that way just makes a more personal connection. And as musicians, we just want people to listen to our music. As creatives, we just want people to like our post of whatever we've made. Um, but I'm the same way. If I'm watching someone and looking at them in the eye, I feel like on a screen, um, there's just more of a connection there. They feel more vulnerable. They feel more like me. Hi. So sorry to interrupt me, but I did want to mention that I have a Instagram growth ebook available for absolutely free that you can download through the link in my description on my website. Yeah, it's free and it gives you all of this information maybe in a more condensed format, so you don't have to listen to me ramble any more than I am right now. So now I'd like to turn it back over to myself. So just to recap, I started out in September of last year with about 3,000 followers on Instagram. As of today, which is the 1st of December, that's when I'm filming this, of 2021, I'm at 11.5K on Instagram. So you may be asking yourself, well, is it worth it? Was it worth all of that time and effort that you spent into it? And my answer is yeah, maybe, kind of. And the reasons may be different than what you think. Like, yes, it is easier to reach more people. Your posts have a better chance of kind of getting on the explore page and stuff if you have more followers, just because it's, even though a small percentage of your followers see your posts, it's still a larger number of people because you have more followers and more engaged followers, hopefully, if you've been being a person. Been being a person, yeah. The drawback of Instagram that I've found is that if you ever do anything that's slightly outside of the niche where you built your audience, like say I did a lot of synthesizer and gear related posts, and that's really where I got the bulk of my followers. And then I release, piano music, or I decide I want to launch an online course that's similar to what I do, but maybe slightly off from what I do. It's really hard to reach new groups of people, um, because those followers don't really help you out if it's something that they're not used to seeing. You'll get a few true fans who will follow you anywhere, which is what you really want anyway. But it hurts you with reach to new people because you're just not getting the engagement on those posts where you're kind of trying to branch out a little bit. So you kind of feel like you have to stay in your lane, which is not a feeling that I ever really want. And as an artist, I don't think we should ever feel like we're trapped, put in a cage. The other really big issue with Instagram, which may be changing, and it's changed a lot just in the last few months, I've noticed that hashtags have kind of gone away as being something that's super important. They're trying to be more like a search engine like YouTube, which would be awesome. I don't think it's totally working that way yet because I've seen a pretty big drop in engagement. Of course, I'm also not quite as consistent as I was like at the height of this because you need time to step back and and create things and give your brain a chance to live outside the algorithm for a while. But it is not a long-term evergreen search engine like YouTube. There's a reason why I'm shooting this video telling you about what I did on Instagram and putting it on YouTube, because I've kind of grown to see the value of things that last for a long time. So if I had it to do all over again, would I have poured all that effort into YouTube instead of Instagram? Probably so, in hindsight. Just because people search for things on YouTube, and if you know kind of how to use keywords and things, you can stay in that search engine for a long time. When you post something to Instagram, if it doesn't immediately perform pretty well, like in the first few hours, it's pretty much gone forever and no one's going to see it again. Again, I hope that that's changing. I hope that they are moving to being more of a search platform, and keywords, SEO is going to be more important, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So overall, I would say, yeah, I'm glad I did it. If nothing else, just for those side benefits that I mentioned of being more consistent, being more personable, finding new creators and fellow creatives that I really enjoy and have gotten to know and have actually had working relationships with some of them. Yeah, it's been overall a good experience. Has been frustrating at times, just knowing that your content doesn't survive. Even if your post performs pretty well, it doesn't survive more than like a week or two at most. And then it's kind of lost in the void. So what am I doing now? I'm continuing to use Instagram because I have built my largest audience there, but I'm focusing more on this YouTube channel and building an email list so that I can kind of have ownership over my audience and it's not controlled by an algorithm that's totally outside of our control. You probably heard that Instagram can go away at any moment and there's nothing that you can do about it. So if you put all your eggs in that basket, it's kind of a tough deal. Same kind of thing goes for Spotify, even though that's something that a lot of artists in my genre probably don't want to hear. Spotify playlist, whole other topic for a whole other video. Oh, one more thing. Something that I never hear anyone talk about when they talk about Instagram growth. They kind of give you this formula of like, do this and do that, and the algorithm will like what you are doing. There are two variables that I can't tell you whether anything that I've done is going to work for you or not, and that's the fact that you're a different person and your content is different than mine. You know, you could use these same techniques and double what I've done. You could use the same techniques and get half the results that I've gotten. I don't know, because no one knows. And it doesn't mean that your work or you are better or worse than me. It just means that it's different and the algorithm likes some things better than other things. And yeah, some of it translates to like 60-second clips or 15-second or like 0.5-second clips, like micro reels, which I hear is coming very soon to Instagram, which is actually going to be fractions of a second. I don't know if you've heard about that. Really looking forward to creating content for that platform. I'm going to try to do more of these videos that are like my experience with promotion, music marketing, and those kind of things that can be really daunting and scary if you are just starting out, or even if you've been at it for a few years like I have. It can still feel overwhelming. So I'm not an expert, but maybe I've made some mistakes that you can learn from, or maybe I've hit on something that has worked out for me that I can share that will help you too. So if you will, getting back to what I talked about earlier, hit the subscribe button. I am focusing more on this YouTube channel. You can also sign up for my email list, where I'm going to be sending out both videos like this as well as other music related things like sample packs. I've got several sample packs, and I'm going to be doing some online courses next year as well. And you can be notified of all of that stuff by me directly and not some algorithm where you're hoping that it shows you the things that you value and want to see. So hope you got something out of this video. Hope you do really well in 2022 on Instagram and whatever else you're trying to do. And I hope your art gets heard / seen by as many people as possible.